The Houston Texans will not be disciplined for mishandling quarterback Tom Savage's concussion during the team's Week 14 loss to the San Francisco 49ers because a joint review by the NFL and the NFL Players Association concluded that the medical staff followed protocol, which was ultimately found to be in need of improvements. The protocol is the battery of tests a player must be cleared through if he is to return to a game after suffering a suspected concussion. Savage lay twitching on the turf after being sacked by 49ers linebacker Elvis Dumervil on December 10. He was initially removed from the game by the officials, who suspected he suffered a head injury. Somehow he was cleared to re-enter for one series after sustaining what was later diagnosed as a concussion. Scroll down for video. Replays showed Houston Texans quarterback Tom Savage looking dazed after his head hit the ground, with both of his arms shaking. Savage ultimately returned to the game briefly. Tom Savage hits head on ground, appears to have seizure while ref looks on, comes back in the game 5 minutes later. Pic twitter.com/GW9Lictic. The review showed that following a hard tackle, Mr. Savage was immediately removed from the game and evaluated for a concussion, read the joint NFL-FLPA statement issued Friday. The unaffiliated Urotrauma consultant, UNC, and team physician reviewed the initial broadcast video, saw the play and Mr. Savage's response and followed the protocol by performing a complete sideline concussion evaluation on Mr. Savage, which he passed. The Texans medical staff continued to monitor Mr. Savage after the initial evaluation and shortly after his return to the game, identified symptoms that had not been present during the sideline evaluation and took him to the locker room for further evaluation, the statement continued. The incident exposed a blind spot in the NFL's ongoing effort to diagnose concussions and help make the game safer after recent studies have linked the effects of playing football with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a brain disease which triggers aggression, suicidal thoughts and dementia. The changes include the addition of a centralized and affiliated Urotrauma consultant, UNC, to monitor all games as well as defining no-go criteria aimed at preventing concussed players from re-entering games. And although the NFL began demanding medical tents be placed on every sideline, providing a place for players to be tested for a concussion, the new rules announced Friday require a locker room concussion evaluation for all players demonstrating gross or sustained vertical instability. Houston Texans quarterback Tom Savage heads to the locker room in the second quarter against the San Francisco 49ers at NRG Stadium on December 10. Cleveland Browns defensive end Carlos enters a pop-up medical tent on the sideline during an NFL football game against the New York Jets, in Cleveland. This year, the NFL mandated the tents on every sideline at every stadium. They are used mostly for concussion testing or for quick medical work that doesn't require a trip to the locker room. However, new rules announced Friday would require a locker room concussion evaluation for all players demonstrating gross or sustained vertical instability.